Dad, being a lawyer and mom being an acupuncture, those are kind of, far from each other somewhat. Was there a dynamic
Yeah,
there that was
they
interesting?
needle you in different ways, though.
Oh, no pun intended
Yeah,
there.
yeah. But yeah, my mom was a court reporter actually, which is not how they met, interestingly enough. But my mom was a court reporter, and she had my sister, 3 years older than me. Then she had me in 1990, and then so she went back to Chinese medical school and became an acupuncturist from 94 to 98. So really interesting career change for her, and partially because she got acupuncture when I was born to help with postnatal asthma, and it went away in 6 weeks, and so she was really excited to help other people as an acupuncturist.
Yeah, that acupuncture is something. I've done that, and so she's not totally, because she speaks the language. She understands lawyers. That's how the connection between your dad was.
We all, yeah, exactly. She was a court reporter for a number of years, and we all speak the language of law now. I used to get cross-examined at the dinner table, and when I was 10 years old, and then my dad would always say, "Does this make sense to you? What do you think about this?" He would always practice his arguments on me beforehand. So it was fun. I got to grow up with a lot of like critical reasoning and does this hold water type of conversation at the dinner table, which was cool.
Yeah, that's how a Jewish family is with a lot of neuroses. The same thing, very analytical. And why you got to dissect everything? Let's just eat the pastrami sandwich.
Let's just eat dinner.
So
Yeah, I used to hear. My dad used to represent a lot of the cruise lines, and I heard a lot of stories growing up about some horror shows on some of these cruise ships. So apparently, people walk into engine rooms more frequently than you would imagine.
oh
But
my God,
so, yeah,
that's cool.
yeah,
That's
it was
so
a
fun
fun,
to
a
watch.
fun dinner table to grow up at for sure.
Okay, so it's just you and your sister.
Yeah, just me and my sister. Yeah.
Okay, so you're the youngest, which
Yep.
leads us into, we'll get into the sheets and giggles later, because that leads into the younger ones always like the entertainer, right? So
Yeah.
we'll get into that. But then when did you guys leave Florida?
My folks are all still there. So my
Oh, you
family,
leave
my
Florida
aunt,
then.
yeah, I'm the black sheep. So my aunts, my uncles, my grandmother, my cousin, my sister, my niece, my nephew. Now everyone's in Florida. So I'm the only one who got out. And I live in Denver, and I went to Emory University in Atlanta when I was 18, and then Connecticut for my first job, and then Seattle, and then now Denver. So I've kind of been all over the place, but I haven't lived in Florida in 13 years.
Right, you took finance at Emory, I
hmm
read,
Yeah, finance and
right?
econ. Yep. I'm actually going back to Emory next week to teach the entrepreneurship class, which I'm excited about.
Cool. Did you always want to be an entrepreneur when you were taking these finance classes and everything?
No, not really. I was the type of person who like had no idea what he wanted to do. Just no idea. Everything sounded kind of boring to me. That all my friends were getting excited about or that were interviewing for banking and being accountants or people who were going to work at iBanks or hedge funds and it just all sounded like you're just gonna move money around and you're gonna be 22, so you're not even really doing anything. You're just doing all the grunt work and leg work, so you're not really even doing anything interesting or fun. You're just kind of putting in 100 hours a week at some bank in New York, like living in a shoebox, and it all sounded really terrible. And so and then I had some friends who were going to work at McKinsey as a consultant or a research analyst, and that seemed interesting. I think that the strategic and management consulting routes seemed the most interesting to me because of the problem solving aspect of them. But I just had no direction in terms of like what I wanted to do, and I never thought about. There was a couple times here and there where I thought about trying to start my own company in college or out of college, but that's also really hard to do without any experience. And what do I really respect people who start companies in their early 20s because I don't know how the hell you would even begin to build a business plan.
Well, let's go back and forth a little bit here. So, you're on the dean's list. You make the dean's list at Emory, right?
Yeah.
right? But it tells a story here. So let's go back to, childhood or whatever, high school. Were you the funny guy in school or?
No, I was the smart kid. I if I didn't get 100, I got a 99 on every test, and if I got a 97, I was really upset.
Okay.
And because my rival would get a 99 or 100, and then we would, always try to have the highest average in the class. And there were a couple quarters in high school where I got straight 100s in like every class. And then I got a perfect score on the SAT. So that was kind of like my thing was like I was just like the kid who always raised his hand, studied hard, took crazy notes, was very gifted in terms of like being able to do math very quickly, being able to read very quickly, and I the only subjects I really sucked at were physics. Really sucked at physics, which was interesting, and I really sucked at foreign languages. Like I can speak a little bit of Spanish, but that's always hard for me. And then at Emory, what was cool about going to Emory was I ended up being surrounded by people who were similar to me in the sense of like they were all people who were crushing high school and that sort of thing. So yeah.